More than two-thirds of Americans have cell phones, but there's long been a question: does heavy cell phone use hurt human health? Lindsay Davis reports on a major new study which for the first time shows cell phones do seem to have some mysterious effect on the brain.
Did you know that every day we swipe, tap, and scroll on our phones at least 2,600 times? Not just that. Surveys show that millennials use their phones about 5 hours every single day. That's 5 hours of getting lost in the endless abyss of social media, YouTube rabbit holes, or Netflix binges.
Many people feel addicted to their devices, glancing down at their cell phone when it buzzes or dings. Well, now a new study shows it's getting worse.
Those 5 hours don't just mess with your sleep schedule, your work, or that hobby you swore you would pick up. They are doing a number on your mind too. What will happen if someone takes your phone away for a bit? You will become restless. You will become irritated, maybe even a little stressed. It is no surprise that we have become phone addicts. This addiction is now taking a toll on our mental health. Let's see how.
I confess that after the findings, I changed my behavior. So now I use it on a speakerphone. I just put a wire on my earphones.
For years, studies have tried to link cell phones and cancer, but they've been inconclusive. Experts say this new study offers perhaps the first real step in the search for an answer.
Why millennials? But why are we talking specifically about millennials today? Because this is the generation that social media is subtly destroying in ways we cannot always see. You see, millennials grew up during the digital revolution. They had dial-up internet and flip phones, but when they grew up, all that changed to Wi-Fi and fancy smartphones. It was exciting, no doubt, but it also meant they had to quickly adapt to a world that was shifting faster than ever. They went from writing notes in class to texting, from relying on face-to-face interactions to getting Zoom calls on their laptops. This constant need to accommodate new technology has made millennials particularly vulnerable to the pressures of social media. They are the first generation to experience the full impact of the digital age. But they did not veer away from social media though. Did you know that nearly 70% of millennials are active on social media? And with the constant pressure to keep up with trends, their anxiety is through the roof. According to a study by the American Psychological Association, 37% of millennials have been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, and that's just the reported cases. Another reason why it is harder for millennials to handle the stress is their finances. Millennials are carrying an average of $32,000 in student loan debt, and many haven't even made a dent in it before they are also expected to buy a house in today's crazy economy. If you want to know why that's worse, check out our previous video. But when all these factors come together with social media, mental health goes straight to garbage. And why exactly is social media fueling this anxiety epidemic? Let's have a look. The comparison culture. The biggest reason for this anxiety epidemic is the comparison culture. Thanks to social media, we are all stuck in one giant, never-ending episode of keeping up with the Kardashians. You scroll through Instagram and there it is, your old high school friend showing off their new luxury car. Swipe again, and there is a college buddy buying a house with a perfectly manicured lawn. And don't even get me started on LinkedIn, where it seems like everyone is getting promoted, launching a startup, or winning awards. This is all so exhausting. All this comparison is annoying as hell. And the worst thing is that it is actually damaging. According to a study by the Royal Society for Public Health, Instagram is the worst social media platform for mental health. In fact, 6 out of 10 millennials admitted that their self-esteem takes a hit after scrolling through social media. And it is not just about the big things like careers and homes. No, it is the little things too. Your outfit is not trendy enough? Your vacation was not exotic enough? Your dinner didn't look gourmet enough? Suddenly, nothing you do feels good enough. This constant comparison game makes you want to keep up with an ever-moving target, and as a result, it makes you more anxious, less satisfied, and downright miserable. We are all competing in this online rat race, and nobody is really winning. As if that was not enough, social media really introduced a new kind of anxiety, which is FOMO. FOMO.
it can lead to cognitive distortions, and that terminology really is people thinking that they're missing out on something, and they're convincing themselves with these cognitions, these thoughts, that they're truly missing out on things.
FOMO literally means fear of missing out, and it is the ultimate social media weapon. You see your friends at a party you weren't invited to. Everyone is living their best life on vacation while you're stuck at home, and suddenly you feel like the loneliest person on the planet. A study by Eventbrite found that 69% of millennials experience FOMO regularly. That's right, nearly 7 out of 10 are freaking out because they think they are missing out on something better. And the more we scroll, the worse it gets. Social media is basically a 24/7 highlight reel, and it is easy to forget that it is all curated. You're not seeing the bad days, the messy kitchens, or the mundane moments, just the fun, the glam, and the picture perfect. This fear of missing out on things drives people to make decisions they would not normally make, just to keep up. Like going out when you are dead tired, buying things you don't need, or even feeling pressured to post your own amazing life. It is this vicious cycle where we are constantly chasing experiences, but instead of feeling fulfilled, we end up more anxious, more stressed, and ironically, more left out than ever before. The constant need for validation. But that's not the only thing. After FOMO, social media has also turned us into validation junkies. We are all out here chasing likes, comments, and shares like that they are the new currency of self-worth. We have traded in real, meaningful connections for the quick dopamine hit that comes with every notification. Every time we get a like or a positive comment, our brain releases a little bit of dopamine, which is the same chemical that makes us feel good when we eat chocolate, win a game, or experience anything that excites us. If you get this dopamine release all the time, your threshold for getting excited increases, and then normal things don't make you happy anymore. When you use too much social media, your brain constantly releases dopamine in the beginning. But then, after some time, your dopamine threshold level increases. Now, real life doesn't make you happy anymore. Heck, social media doesn't make you happy anymore. But now we are hooked, and now we will keep using it. Most of the time we spend on social media, we keep obsessively checking how our posts are doing. Did I get enough likes? Why didn't so-and-so comment? Why is my follower count dropping? This need for validation isn't just annoying, it's actually rewiring our brains. We have become so addicted to the approval of others that it is impacting our self-esteem. When a post doesn't get enough attention, it feels like a personal failure. And when we don't get that validation, we spiral into self-doubt and anxiety. Information overload. Information overload is one other reason for this anxiety epidemic. Millennials are drowning in a sea of information. Back in the day, news came from a few trusted sources, like newspapers, TV channels, and that was it. You knew where to get your information, and it was manageable. But now, everyone is a reporter. Everyone has something to say, and it is all coming at us at lightning speed. We are bombarded with an overwhelming amount of content daily. There is news, there are opinions, new trends, you name it. And the worst thing is that these are not from reputable sources. These are coming from every corner of the internet. One minute you are scrolling through cute dog videos, and the next you are hit with a headline about an asteroid that is coming in 2030 to end our world. This constant exposure is wreaking havoc on our mental health. We are trying to process so much information that it is leaving us stressed, anxious, and feeling helpless. We don't know what's true and what's not, and that uncertainty only adds to the anxiety, the psychological toll. But anxiety is not the only psychological toll social media is taking on our mental health. The impact goes much deeper. Depression, loneliness, overall psychological distress. These are becoming alarmingly common among millennials. Studies have shown that excessive social media use is linked to a 66% increase in the likelihood of experiencing depression. Another major concern here is sleep disruption. Sleep is important for mental health. It is the time when your brain processes and recharges. But if you are lying in bed glued to your phone, you are not giving your mind the break it needs. Instead, you wake up feeling more stressed, more anxious, and less capable of dealing with the day ahead. Not just that, scrolling through social media, especially before bedtime, can seriously throw off your sleep patterns. The blue light from screens messes with our body's melatonin production and makes it harder for us to fall asleep. And without proper sleep, anxiety and stress levels increase more than we can handle. Social media platforms are also the reason why millennials and other users feel more lonely. The irony here is that social media was created so that people can connect with each other. But now people who spend over 2 hours a day on social media are twice as likely to report feeling socially isolated. Social media has done even worse than affect our sleep cycle or our emotions. It has increased the chances of being cyberbullied. Cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is a serious issue that has affected millennials so much. Growing up in the digital age means that harassment no longer stops at the school gates. It follows you everywhere, thanks to social media. This exposure to negativity can lead to severe anxiety and stress. Unlike traditional bullying, which happens face-to-face, cyberbullying is always present. Your phone or laptop becomes a source of dread. Every notification brings more pain. The effects are not just emotional, but also deeply psychological. Victims of cyberbullying are at a higher risk of developing depression, anxiety, and other mental health conditions. By now, you might have realized that it is finally time we take back control from social media. We have all been there, endlessly scrolling, feeling worse by the minute. But there is a way out, and it is called a digital detox. Studies show that just cutting down your social media time by 30 minutes a day can make you feel less depressed and lonely. It does really help. But what's a digital detox? How can you do it? It is not some complicated thing. It is simply taking a break from your phone, your apps, and all the noise. Maybe you start with an hour a day where you put your phone down and focus on something real, like read a book, go for a walk, or actually talk to someone face-to-face. The goal is to reconnect with life outside the screen. Another part of this digital detox is turning off those constant notifications. Every ding and buzz pulls you back into the endless scroll, so why not silence them? This way, you will be in control of when you check your phone, not the other way around. And then you should also set a screen time limit for your apps. This feature lets you set daily limits on how long you can use certain apps, like Instagram or TikTok. Did you know when you hit that limit, the app locks, and if you want to extend your time, you need a password? Now, let's make it a bit difficult for you here. If you were the one who set this password, you would just increase the limit and keep scrolling. But what if you swap passwords with a friend? They set yours, you set theirs. This way, if you want more time, you have to reach out to them. It is a clever way to keep yourself in check and make sure you are using social media mindfully. You can also create phone-free zones or times in your day. Maybe no phones at the dinner table, or set a rule that your phone stays out of the bedroom. Without that constant temptation, you will find it easier to disconnect and focus on what's in front of you. And in the end, make sure to replace some of that screen time with activities that genuinely make you happy. Pick up a hobby, exercise more, or spend time with friends and family. In no time, you will notice your mood has improved and your anxiety is almost gone. What other tips do you have to get out of this anxiety epidemic caused by social media? Share with us in the comments below. Before you go, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more such videos, which might be a little uncomfortable, but absolutely necessary, as no one else is talking about them. I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, take care.